Speaking of the secondary, let's talk some Cam Mitchell.
Yeah, before we get to Cam Mitchell real quick, Tyvis is going to break down some plays for us.
They killed my momentum there, Mike.
And, well, you'll understand why in a sec, because we're going to explain how we're going to do this, and I'm going to set you up to let him ride. But Cam Mitchell is coming. He's a fifth-round pick.
Cornerback played
from
in college
Northwestern.
with G. At Northwestern.
Tyvis, we were breaking down plays and choosing which ones to put in this little montage that he's going to break down, and he was like, yo, you missed this one play, McNuggets. You got to put this one in. So I went back and we looked through, and we found out the guy who laid the hit, who Tyvis thought was Cam Mitchell, was someone else. And Mitchell recovered the fumble. Now, Mitchell may be able to, in his career, do that if he starts eating a couple extra Built Bars every day to bulk up, become that combo hybrid defensive back safety. Even if with an NFL contract, he's still using promo code LOCKDOWN15 for 15% off at Built.com. Bull.
So Cam Mitchell was a fifth-round pick, you mentioned, cornerback out of Northwestern. He's, I guess, in the competition to be the fourth corner, which is obviously a role that, as the fourth corner of a team you're going to play.
Yeah.
And you've got your eye on Cam Mitchell, so we're going to do some video breakdowns here, so I'm looking forward to this. What's our first slide here? What's your early thoughts, though, on Cam Mitchell here? Like,
well,
my
early thoughts on him is that he's a nice size guy. He plays that was bad. Yeah. That was bad. Yeah. Let me start that over.
It's been a very unintentional morning panel the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was detrimental.
To your health. Everybody's health.
Look, forgive me, please. Forgive me. Yeah. Speaking blasphemy, but I think he's a good football player.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's a good football player. Started his career at the nickel position at Northwestern, when G. New was there. Seemed very productive there. Obviously, he moved outside, became their number one guy. Actually had a couple of plays against the Buckeyes. So, obviously the Buckeyes have some really good receivers. And I'll go through those plays as well. But I think he has a solid foundation. And the number one thing is he is not afraid to come up and tackle and make plays and blitz and stuff like that. So I think he's a good fit if G. New goes down at that nickel position. I think he can come in there and be productive.
Yeah, on our lads, he's being listed as the backup nickel corner. Obviously, they have him. They have A.J. Green as a backup. DeAnthony Bell, who was an undrafted free agent who was here last year. The rest of the corners in camp are all undrafted free agents this year. So he's going to make this roster, even as a fifth-round pick's not a guarantee.
But he's going
to make this roster, and he'll be the fourth or fifth corner. We'll see. But he will probably be the backup nickel, as you say. And so, all right, Mike, let's get to the first.
Tyvis, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's roll it. Roll it.
Take the play, Tyvis.
Of course, we start off with the Buckeyes. So in this play right here, we see him coming. He's at the nickel position. They send him on a nice little nickel blitz, and it's an inside blitz. Now, I got to give the defensive coordinator some credit because he called a simulated pressure with this defensive tackle to the right coming up, eating up that guard block, making it look like 7 people's coming, but it's really only 6. So he's free open. Now, what makes this play so special is that Justin Fields is no slouch. Justin Fields is a really good athlete at the quarterback position. He was able to come through, get him down, and make the tackle right there. That right there is things that we're going to see at the nickel position. In this league, nickels they blitz quite often.
Yeah.
And if you could come in and make tackles on quarterbacks like that in open field, which is very hard to do, then you could be productive in this league.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the Mike Hilton of the Bengals is a great nickel corner.
Yep.
He obviously played a lot of his career with Pittsburgh. He's been in Cincinnati. He does blitz a lot. That's a huge advantage if you have a player that is savvy enough to be, because you don't want to give it away too early.
Exactly, in which he did a great job of holding his water. He didn't give it away. They couldn't tell who was coming, and he ended up coming scot-free.
So what was his speed? Do you know his 40 time?
You have to ask McNuggets that. I don't know what his 40
Like, why is he a fifth-round pick? Why he doesn't look that big?
I think he's like 5'10", but
he ran a 4.47.
That's actually a really good time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why he was a fifth-round pick.
So, and G, I know you've complained about this a lot, that the Browns do nothing creatively in terms of blitzing.
Yeah.
In the past.
they people like to, rush forward, and sometimes when you do that, you look like a genius, right? Sometimes when you have like one of the best players in the league in basketball, is compared, and you got a Luka Doncic, like he's so good with running the pick and roll that, like, even though they know it's coming, there's so many different things he can do off of it that it just makes it unstoppable. So it's intoxicating a little bit where you could just say, I'm going to put the basketball in his hands and move out the way. But when you play other good teams, what happens is they got defensive players that are just as talented, and then they can say, well, it doesn't matter because we got this guy and he can stop what you do here. So it's the same way with pass rush. It's like, you know, the rush game can come from other different positions, linebackers, corners, and sometimes it doesn't need to be a sack. Like in that play, he did get the sack, right?
Yeah.
But if Justin Fields throws the ball quick and it's incomplete, that's a win. If he completes it for 1 yard, that's a win. If
throws a pick?
if he throws a pick, that's a win.
Well, let me take it into Browns terms. Roll that clip back. Let me put it in the Browns perspective. Let's put him in the Cleveland Browns jersey and pretend that that's the Cleveland Browns' defense.
Okay.
And why that is so significant is because picture this. That DN that's standing up at the end, that's Myles Garrett. Now, let's say Myles Garrett is never getting singled, okay? So let's get that out of there. Let's get that in the opener right now. Say that
Northwestern probably doesn't have any defensive linemen worth double teaming, no?
True. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. So
They did have a guy drafted in the second round, one of the empty tackles. So.
All right.
So in this situation, picture that guard and that tackle both sliding on Myles Garrett, and he's coming in the inside like that. Guess what has to happen? One or two things has to happen. The guard has to make a decision. Do I stay double teaming Myles Garrett? Probably not. I'm coming off to go pick up this blitz.
Right.
So now the tackle's one-on-one. Now you got the one-on-one matchup that you need with Myles Garrett.
That's right.
If he flushes him out the pocket a little bit, Myles is standing right there for the sack. So the pass rush is going to be very they go hand in hand.
It's huge, and you're already, in theory, just with Dalvin Tomlinson inside, and just the improvement they've made talent-wise on the D-line, it's going to be harder to double team Myles Garrett, even without the blitzing, because there's better talent. It's by far the best talent he's had around him, at least on paper, and there's guys who have been productive. But let me ask you a question about this blitz. When the corner blitz is like that, is it
the corner or the nickel?
Or the nickel, nickel, or whatever. But in this case, it's the nickel. But in general, when anybody blitzes from the secondary, is it always 100% of the time that play called exactly, or is it ever a case where the nickel's up at the line and he's reading something, whether it's the quarterback or the protection, and he can make a decision and the team has to adjust?
So it's both of them.
Okay.
So one, it's a design nickel blitz, okay?
Yeah.
But if it's not a design nickel blitz, say it's, I don't know, somebody on the outside is blitzing, okay?
Yeah.
And he's too far away to get home. So what they would do is they'd switch the call. They'd say, all right, you got to be in coverage, and I'm going to take the blitz because I'm closer. You always want the guy that's closer to the line to blitz because it's going to get there faster.
Right.
So that would be the only time that it'll change out. So, for example, if it was a design nickel blitz and they came out in too wide and the nickel was displaced, okay?
All right.
They would say, you know what, I'm not about to have a linebacker come check this receiver, so switch it.
Yeah.
The nickel will stay in coverage. The linebacker would then come off the edge and blitz.
Or they have a green dog sometimes, which is if it's a linebacker, and say, for instance, the linebacker is supposed to be in coverage or something or has somebody man-to-man. And if that guy stays in blocks,
add on.
Add
on.
Go blitz.
Please go.
Go. I got you. All right, Mikey, let's see the next video.
Tyvis play number 2, once again against your Buckeyes, but a coverage play. Take it away, Steve.
See this one.
Yeah, this is just a good coverage by him. Obviously, they get a good pass rush, and it's an underthrown ball. The reason that this is significant is because, one, he caught the ball and he got vision on the quarterback. See, if he was in just man-to-man and he was just running his route and, just staying with his man, this is no play to be made. But he sees what's going on. He got eyes on the quarterback. He's in control of his guy. He's able to make a play. Only thing I would say is he's in the NFL. It takes 2 in this league, so make sure you get that other foot down.
That's true.
Hey, I'm going to say something, bro. Northwestern was balling.
Yeah.
How did y'all lose this game?
We didn't lose. We didn't lose.
I mean, I'm saying
how did they lose?
I mean,
because
balling.
I'm going to tell you what happened. Northwestern had a great game plan for the passing game. So what happened was Trey Sermon, the running back, who ended up going 3rd round to the Eagles, broke the record for Big Ten championship records for rushing yards. He had like 300 yards or something like that.
Who was the receiver on that?
Don't know.
He gave up on the play.
It looked like it might have been Jamison Williams. Let me see that again. It looked like
See that one more time?
It doesn't show you a real number.
I wish we had a better angle of when he first
I'm telling you, that looked like
ball,
Jamison Williams. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm
forced out of the
I think
pocket.
that's him. If that's number 6, then that's J-Mo, and I think it is.
Yeah, was he forced out of the pocket or was he rolling out on purpose?
I think
It
that
was
was
a
a design
rollout with
rollout.
pressure.
Yeah.
Design
So the wide
rollout
receiver
with
should
pressure.
not have given up on that. It seems like the wide
No,
receiver.
it's like it looked like it's a sprint out and it's a design out
I
or
don't know who the hell
comeback
that was.
on the call, but they threw pressure.
Yeah,
That's J-Mo.
yeah,
That's
six.
J-Mo.
Yeah, he's got to get that second foot down. All right.
All right, third play, Tyvis.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
This is not against your former Buckeyes. It's against Indiana State, and this is a play that shows off Mitchell's speed
Indiana
and
State
closing.
plays football?
Yes, his closing speed.
Yeah.
Tyvis.
So in this play right here, we're going to see he's in man coverage. They're going to run the traditional little drag or over
where is
route.
he here?
He's at the bottom of the screen.
You'll see him come out in
Yeah,
a second.
he's at the bottom. His guy's running the over route right now. And what he has on this is called contact speed. You see as the ball is caught, as he's going to make contact, he speeds up and accelerates through the man and ultimately makes a big play. What I liked about this is that he stayed on top of the route, and as the ball was coming, he closed in, boom, makes that contact. Probably in the NFL, what they'll probably have him do is what we call a jet stream. A jet stream is when instead of going up and over everybody and creating this separation, you get directly behind the guy. So as he runs his under route, you get right behind him and you jet stream him, so you're able to make plays on the ball. So he will go underneath.
He ran
everything.
behind the
Yeah,
linebacker.
he ran because you don't want to run into nobody. So
Right.
to play it safe, you go over the top. But in the league, if they both run drags, they have it to where the field guy will go over the top and the guy to the boundary come underneath. If he's the only guy running the drag, you should jet stream it, come underneath the wide receiver and stay with him. That way, it would discourage him to make any throws.
Because if you're covering Pickens or Jamar Chase, I don't know that he's covering those guys.
But first of all, he's going to have to get on his horse first of all.
You're not running around the linebacker and chasing those guys
Now,
down.
if you want to play it safe, because if they catch the ball for 4 yards and you make the tackle, cool, we can live with that.
Yes, that's
But
fair.
if you get picked off and you hit the linebacker and bump, now you're taking a 4-yard play and now it's 25 yards.
I like that he brought the luggage to the party. I like that.
You love a corner that's not afraid to lay
Exactly.
it.
He comes up and he's physical. So that right there makes the signs for a good nickel because nickels are essentially linebackers. They're a part of the run game. So you have to come up and make tackles. You have a gap that you're responsible for. He got to come up and make these tackles, and it shows that he's not scared to hit.
And a nickel corner, just by the nature of where the slot receiver lines up, you're more likely to have to make a tackle as opposed to an outside corner where often you could push the guy out of bounds or he runs out of bounds.
The outside corner makes about maybe 2 tackles.
Yeah, right.
Hey, well, that's crazy because Martin Emerson is like 4th or 5th on the team in tackles.
Really?
He has 63 tackles. It's
And
crazy.
the safeties were 1 and 2.
Which is good that he's able to do it. Not good. It doesn't say much. I mean, he's a big corner.
Well, last year they had no choice because teams was like, they can't stop the run, so we gonna run the ball.
Yeah, Martin Emerson was making tackles on running plays. Yes, Mikey.
Next play 4. He could do it on American soil. He could also do it in Ireland. This was a game against Nebraska to open up last season. Tyvis?
All right, so this one right here, he makes a nice little pick on this one. What I liked about this is that he's on top of the route. Now,
He's moving a little bit, too.
Yeah, he got some nice little return skills. Look at that. He got some, he played receiver back in this day. He probably was a returner before.
I also like that he didn't run out of bounds. Like, he wasn't afraid to take a hit there.
Who is this guy?
And look at time and score.
Dude,
By
he's
the
trying
way,
to be
it's
somebody.
a 4-point game in the 4th quarter. Nebraska's driving. Time and score.
nice play.
Big play.
He stayed on top of the route, got his eyes back there. See, this is what happens.
Come get you some.
This is what happens when you in control of the route. That's why I preach, and the NFL always preach, stay on top of the routes. Because if you're on top of the routes, now you can get your head around and make plays on the ball. If you getting beat off the line of scrimmage and you playing catch up, you never ever get a chance to turn your head around and play the ball. You playing through the hands. So this is good to show that if he's on top of the route and he's in control, he can make plays, and he got a nice little return. He got vision with the ball in his hand.
Hey, Tyvis, I thought this was a Mobley pick. Mobley. I thought this was a Giannis pick. This is the Friends and Family program. You get my boy on here, man. I'm saying Greg Newsome. I thought G New was out here like, yeah, man. I don't know how I feel about this. Calm me down, get my boy together. Hey, you might want to come out here with your head on a swivel. This boy right here, we wasn't even doing no research. We got the intel on him. He looked all right.
Well, the thing that he got a little bit over G New is that he has experience playing nickel.
Yeah.
So that's to him going back is should be nothing. See, G New, I don't know if he ever played nickel at Northwestern. I know he's always been an outside corner. they're asking him to transition to the nickel, and he's finding out that it is a difference in there. But like I say, at the end of the season, I say the last 5 games of the season, Gnu showed some promise at nickel, so it'll be interesting to see how they.
The secondary as a whole played better later in the season. Go ahead, Mike.
And we have our 5th and final play in Tyvis. This one might be my favorite from Cam Mitchell in the nickel. Steve played.
So we got him again on that outside blitz again. And what I like about him, you can tell that this man has been in the D-line room. How do I know that? Because it's not, getting a sack is easy, but he goes and attacks that quarterback's hand with that ball in it. You match the quarterback hands, and when you do that, boom, you get that ball out, and you see get ball, get a strip sack. He does that at the nickel position. This man will be one of the highest paid nickels in the NFL if you can continue to make plays like that.
I'll tell you what.
Because it's getting takeovers and creating takeovers and being chaotic like that in the pass rush game. Also with the Myles Garrett, with the Zadarius Smith and all those guys will appreciate that, because now offensive lines will have to respect a guy like that, because not only is he bringing pressure to our quarterback, he's getting the ball out. So now that makes him a dangerous person. If you create takeaways, that's how you get paid in this league.
Tyvis is excited about a guy who's a 5th-round pick.
I'm not excited. I see the potential, and I want to point out to our fans what I think he brings to the table.
If he turns out to be as good as you think he could, I mean, if anything you get, any kind of good production from a pick 5th round or later, to me, that's a huge steal.
There's all kind of people that fall through these cracks, right? They all fall through the cracks. When I was looking at Zadarius Smith, right, he's a 3rd-round pick. And he came in and he's been a dominant pass rusher in this league. Mm-hmm. Guys like this is so difficult. You know how many, there's 117, 120 Division I schools, and you got how many corners on each team, right? There may be 5 corners on each team. So you do the math on that 5 times, 120. You're looking at 600 potential corners, and guys fall through the cracks sometimes.
Not to mention a sprinkling of guys at the lower levels.
The lower levels, the double A or whatever the case may be. I like his tenacity. Yeah. I like the fact that, and he's looking to make plays. See, I don't like guys just sitting in gap. I saw him make plays on the sideline on a football, getting a foot in. I saw him make a play in crunch time and getting the pick and then converting. And then that right there, he's getting the ball out. He's looking to score. He's looking to scoop and score. He's looking to have a big play. I like the way he moves on the field. I'm excited. I didn't know much about him.
Yeah, and he looks like a versatile player.
That's what I said. When I looked at his clip, I said it's a lot of things. He got a lot of good. Like, his foundation and his base is good. Yeah. Somebody really worked on him with the training and the fundamentals of football. He got that down. He has to adjust to the speed of the game, because it will be something different. Yeah. And I have to see him in man-to-man coverage, because Jim Schwartz runs a lot of 3 and a lot of 1. Yeah. So he's going to be in man-to-man situations, and those slot wide receivers like a Keenan Allen, a Stephon Diggs, like, that's a tough cover. I don't know how Jim Schwartz is going to assign men to certain guys, or if they just going to play it out like if whoever's in the slot I got. So if that's the case, he's got to be better.
You got Tyler Boyd in Cincy, Pittsburgh slot. Who's Pittsburgh slot receiver?
Deontay Johnson could be a slot, but he's not a traditional slot.
It's really Johnson and Pickens on the outside.
I have no idea.
I can't think who their slot and who's Baltimore's slot receiver.
They got Zay. It'd probably be Bateman or Zay Flowers.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it's gonna be, like I said, it's a nice matchup, but like I said, we'll find out in the preseason. The preseason is getting his feet wet. We'll see how he does in the preseason, because that's what happened with
He'll get the start.
Martin Emerson. Martin Emerson started making plays in the preseason. He'll get the confidence. That's ultimately what it takes to play corner. If you want to be successful in this league at corner, you got to be confident in what you're doing. If he gets some success, gets his hand on the ball, get home on blitzes, or get some picks in the preseason, he'll be ready to go in there and make plays.
He'll get a chance to start, because like some of these guys are not playing much in the preseason.
Yep.